Well, hello, friends. Welcome to RAF Reviews. Join us as we talk about Ubisoft's Far Cry 6. I'm your host, Adam, and joining me today is the hardest working Canadian in all of the businesses, Jacob McCourt.
Thanks for having me. That is a very kind title that you've given me. I don't take it. I don't accept it. I would say one of the hardest working, maybe.
I would say the hardest working in your province. If I knew Canadian provinces, I would say it, but I do not know.
I will take it. I will take it.
Okay, because you guys have provinces instead of states. That's normal. Anyway,
There's 10
Jake.
of them.
Oh, okay. That's less than states we have. Jacob, how you doing, man? Tell everybody about yourself and plug yourself. And the reason I had you on is because I like you so much, and also because you do 17 podcasts. So that's a part of it. So go ahead and give everybody your stuff.
Yeah, so I'm a gaming and esports marketer by day, and by night I make all the things. I host a show called the Left Behind Game Club. It is a video game book club podcast. You are part of that community, so thank you for being a wonderful part of it. We've been doing it for almost 5 years now. It is a video game book club podcast. We try and be informative, funny, and mostly positive. The mostly positive mostly works out. I host another show called Cutscenes. It is a video game movie podcast. It is seasonal. I do it with my two friends, Katie and Travis. We are actually launching season 3 on the 28th of October. So if you are listening to this when it comes out, she coming soon. And then I host another show called Video Game Trivia. It's on hiatus right now, but you can find that on Twitch. You can follow all the things I do at Jacob McCourt, JACOB, MCCOURT on Twitter. That's the best place to find all the things I do.
Let's go. All of those things are great. I listen and partake in all of them, and I enjoy all of them very much. I haven't been on all of them because Jacob hates me, but no, I'm just messing with you.
I was
invited.
Be on. Yeah, you're coming.
You're coming. I'm giving you a hard time. But anyways, so all that's great. Everyone check out Jacob. He's awesome. But I wanted Jacob here today because he played Far Cry 6 just like me. And if you're watching the video version, watch it. See our big faces that are super zoomed in. And I've got some nice slideshow of Far Cry 6 screenshots in the back. It's really fun. But before we get into it, what is your history with the franchise that is Far Cry?
Yeah, so I have been a fan of Far Cry since Far Cry 3, which I think is probably most people's jumping off point or jumping on point to the series, because that is a game that I think was one of the best open world games in that generation. So that was how I came onto it. And then since then, this year in our year of 2021, I played Far Cry 4, which is Pagan Min, that kind of story. And then I've touched the original Far Cry. So I've played a little bit of 1, I've played through 3 and 4, and then I am 93% of the way through Far Cry 6 as we speak. Is your story with the series kind of similar?
Yeah, I've played every Far Cry game.
Snap.
Except for Primal. That's the only one I have not played ever.
New Dawn?
I played New Dawn. I like New Dawn a lot. I played that on my PC.
Okay.
That was one of the first PC games when I got my big boy PC. I was like, what am I going to play that looks good? I'm like, oh, New Dawn's on sale. Let me play this. I never touched it.
Is that kind of like Youngblood? Like Wolfenstein Youngblood? Like shorter, different characters, a little wacky?
Yeah. It's, again, Primal's the one I haven't played, but it is the same map from 5. But it's funny because there are weapons and things in 6 that come directly from New Dawn, but everyone didn't play New Dawn, so you don't know it. Like we'll get into it. There are certain weapons that are. The minute they showed it, I was like, "Oh, that was from New Dawn." But it's very wacky and colorful. Remember, this was the New Dawn was when Rage 2 came out. They're like, which post-apocalyptic neon pink and blue game do you want to play? So I've played everyone except for Primal. I've enjoyed all of them. I've beaten I think I've beaten all of them as well. 2's the only one I think I have not beaten, but I've beaten every other Far Cry game. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the franchise.
And that one's actually, it's Clint Hawking, I think, that is the lead of that one, and I think the guy who did Watchdog Legion. And it has some more open world craziness, procedural gameplay of like, hey, there might be a fire, you might get malaria. That's Far Cry 2, right?
Yeah, the reason I didn't finish that one is I remember I just kept getting malaria and had to keep finding pills. It was not fun. The game's good, but it was just like, this is weird. Yeah, but no, it's a good series. I enjoy it. It's the kind of thing where Ubisoft speaks to me because a lot of people are like, oh, the Ubisoft formula. It's like open world, there's outposts, there's da-da-da-da. It's like, let me tell you what Adam loves. I like going through a checklist and knocking it off. So they've always spoke to me. especially when they have good characters and villains and like fun things to do. So it's
Yeah, I always say I think that the Far Cry formula is like a tropical vista, a authoritarian like villain, and then your character who's kind of a blank slate. In most cases, I think this one is the first case where that's maybe not the case, but your character has a confrontation with the villain and you're like intertwined for the entire story. That's Far Cry to me.
mhm. Yeah, and this one does change that where your character isn't so much a blank slate anymore, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think it's very different and I appreciate it, but we're going to get into it, I'm sure.
yes, absolutely. Um, so I'm going to give you some quick facts on Far Cry 6, the game that we played. It's an action adventure first person shooter developed by Ubisoft Toronto and published by Ubisoft, released October 7th, 2021. Yara, which is the fictional island nation that you play the game on, is 88 kilometers or 34 square miles if you're American.
Thank you for the kilometers.
Yeah, I had to do it. I was just because you were here. Divided into 7 main regions with different terrains from urban areas, jungles, mountain ranges, open oceans. Um, and so this was a fun one. I remember this. Everyone will remember this. In contrast to the media controversy over Ubisoft distancing its stance that Far Cry 5 was made as a political statement, narrative director, I think it's Navid
Vari?
Kavari. Yes, I'm very bad with all names. Kavari said that Far Cry 6 was political, adding a story about a modern revolution must be. So I remember this being a thing, and I think people have talked about it, where Far Cry 5 started out being it seemed political, like it was like, oh, this is as a game about white supremacists in
Yep.
America. And then Trump got elected, and they're like, it's just about a cult.
That game didn't play it, but I was part of the discourse, and my whole thing is like I wish they would lean in a little bit
Mm,
more into it, and like I don't care what your political view is, just take one. This one so when I spoke about this game maybe a week or two ago, I was like, damn, this game's apolitical, and Ubisoft went and did it again. It is not apolitical. There is just a weak political story kind of strung into it. I don't know if you feel the
mhm.
same way.
Yeah, like there are political and like hot button issues in it,
Yep.
but all of them are like, well, of course that's the wrong thing.
Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course, this Canadian businessman is a villain.
Oh god, I love
He's
that so
basically
much.
an oil baron. Like,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah,
It's
they took like the easy way out in every case.
They're like, "Oh, they're mean to the trans person, so they're bad." Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is about a revolution and fighting back against, fascism. So I guess there's a statement there a little bit.
Hmm.
Anthony Gonzalez voiced and did the mocap for Diego. Anthony Gonzalez is the kid from Coco.
Oh, I
Mhm.
didn't know that.
Yep, that is my number one favorite fact, is that, of course, Giancarlo Esposito is in this game, and he's
Hmm.
great, but the
Hmm.
kid from Coco, Pixar's best film, by the way, is, Diego, the son of Giancarlo's, character, Diego Castillo.
Yeah, his performance was nuanced, and I was happy with that. I think that obviously like Giancarlo's the guy,
Mm,
like the Hollywood talent, and it's funny to see how they maybe structure the game around the fact that they maybe only got him for 2 or 3 days to do all of his parts. But I appreciated them both. I think that they told a pretty good story from what I've seen so far.
yep, there's a it's pretty I enjoyed the ending as well, and yeah, I love all the scenes that there and we're not gonna spoil it yet, we're not at spoiler part yet, but where you are in the game, you still have I believe, 2 more big scenes with those characters, so I think those are very, very good.
Mhm.
Critical response, it ranges right now on Metacritic from a 76 on the PC version to an 80 on the Xbox Series X version. I believe PS5 was like a 77 or something like that. So, high 70s, low 80s, feel like it's fair. I would be on the upper end, but again, I'm also a sucker for these kind of games. So that's the critical response. I can see people saying sevens. I can see people saying eights. Adam's gonna play no matter because it's what Adam
This
likes.
is a very good 8. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
already like jump into it, but like this is a very good one of those games.
Mhm.
It will not bring any new fans in, but it is very good. There's just a lot there. And sure there's a little bit of bloat, but if you enjoy open world games, this is a good one of those.
Yeah, that's what I was. People, we'll get to it because we have questions from listeners and the such. And I'm like, they're talking about this game versus that game. Would you recommend it and all that? I mean, we'll get that at the end. But yeah, if you like this kind of game, maybe check it out because it's one of the
Mhm.
good ones. All right, before we get oh, wait, this is a fun one as well. How did you play? Because we like to see, like, I remember when I did one of these before, it was like we played Miles Morales, and we literally played it on every possible way you play Miles Morales. So, how did you play? And then also, I want you to flex on how you got your copy of the game. So go right ahead.
Yes. Yeah, so I received my code from Ubisoft. I'm part of their Canadian ambassador program. So I received it on Xbox Series X, and I actually have the ultimate edition of the game. So I have the side content, some of the like weapon packs and stuff, and then I think I have the season pass as well. So when all the villain stuff comes out, I'll have that. I don't think it comes with like the Rambo pack that's coming, etc. But I do get all the villain DLC that's coming in the next few months.
Cool, cool, cool. Yep, and
Yeah.
I bought it on Xbox Series X as well because I was excited to play it, and I want to play it on my Series X because that's where I
Mhm.
like to play my games. Especially a little trick everyone tells you. Everyone knows that on the consoles you have like a way to like do a family thing, like you
Mhm.
share on a console and people share games. And it's like my son wanted to play, so he played on his Xbox One S, and I played on my Series X, and we played co-op
Aw.
together for part of it. So that's pretty cool. I'm like, I'll buy this. We'll both play it. We'll have a good time.
Okay, that's the one thing that I have like no purview into because I played this game entirely on my own. Does it come with a buddy pass or something like that? Because I know that in Far Cry, I think 4, you could
One.
get a buddy pass and bring people in to help you in certain missions.
Let me tell you, I have no idea. If it did, I think it because that was a PlayStation only thing, I believe, for
You're
4.
right. You're super right.
I don't know if this game has one. I don't think it does. I haven't seen anyone talking about it. It might. I might be completely incorrect, but I don't think it does. But that's why I did it. Was I was like, hey, he also has Xbox, so we can cheat. And like this dude literally has hundreds of games that he hasn't paid for a single one, but it's fine.
Ah, spoiled. That's what he is.
Yeah, explode with my collection that are all my games. Uh, Before we get to spoilers, well, I've got two things. We're gonna go this one first, then we'll do the second one. How do you feel about this particular video game? So not necessarily like here's my numbered review, but just like really quick before we get to spoilers, what is like your top level? Like this is what I feel about this game, yay or nay, sort of a thing. What do
Mhm.
you think?
Just like your high level thoughts, if you will.
Yes, quick pitch. No,
Um,
fast pitch, not quick pitch.
Fast
That's
pitch. He's
fast
listening
pitch.
to my show. I love it. Um, not to say like it's a good one of these. I think it's a well constructed world. Ubisoft knows how to make these games. I appreciate some of the changes that they've made and how you get a little bit more variety. Let's say with this one, you get the rocket backpack on your back and like a tech tree. You don't get a tech tree, but you get like weapon upgrades and clothing to wear instead of like having powers from some tribe that you picked it up from. I appreciate that difference in the game. I think it's well constructed. I think it's fun to play, but it does not make a statement. It does not push the genre or the medium forward. But if you like that, then that's Far Cry 6. To me, it's one of my favorite games in the series. But it will never be on like my top games of all time list. That's just me though.
Yeah, I'm sort of similar. So again, this is an Adam ass game. This is the kind of thing I like. It is my favorite Far Cry game so far, without a doubt, especially after beating it.
Hmm.
And it's also in that thing where this is not gonna be my game of the year list. I'll tell you that. I like it a lot, and I definitely will play it. And my thing is like, hey, do you have you ever liked one of these kind of games or been interested or like I played and I fell off? I think if any of this, you already know if you're interested or not. And
Yeah.
if you are, you're getting a good one, like a thumbs up, good
Hmm.
to go. So yeah, I think it's very good for what it is, but you got to know what it is. Like I was still, my friends are like, I kind of like it. I like the other ones, so I didn't play it. What should I do? I'm like, wait for a sale, and you will have a great time at half price.
Yeah, I was
100%.
yeah, exactly. I was seeing like one of my colleagues on Twitter just saying like, "Hey, this is like a $40 game on like Black Friday." And I was like, "Yes, buy it and you will really enjoy it." I've put 21 hours into the game. I'm 93% of the way through it. I've probably got another 2-3 hours left to finish, and then I'm going to put this game down and be like, "That was great. I enjoyed that." And not 100% the game. It is not
Mhm.
one of those games. There are very few open world games that I've like 100%ed. I just recently 100%ed Maneater because it was like that is a 10-hour game if you
Yeah.
100% it, and it doesn't have 1,000 things in the world. I'm gonna play this game for 24 hours, finish it, and then just be like, that was great. I'm done with this.
All right. So we do have questions from the audience. I'm gonna do one now. I'm gonna do one in the spoiler section, or two in the
Great.
spoiler section because it make more
Yep.
sense. We kind of already talked about it, but Darby Hallman won. As someone who enjoyed Far Cry through 4 but got tired of them, do you think Far Cry 6 is worth jumping back in for? I think the gameplay looks engaging and wackier than previous one, but I'm still slightly hesitant. Thanks. So I'll start. Yeah, if you haven't played 5, so it's been a while since you've played one, and you like that it's more goofy. Yeah, this game goes way more over the top. It's not super like it's grounded kind of, but then it's like a grounded story, but you can do ridiculous things. And
Yep.
yeah, if you haven't played one in a while, again, check it out on Black Friday. You will have a great time.
Yeah, you Adam, you said that this is your favorite Far Cry. I would say this is probably my second favorite Far Cry after 3, and I think it's only because of the strength of the villain and how they intertwined him in, or like wove him into the story at multiple points, and just like seeing him in your face is really shocking, where they didn't really have that with Giancarlo Esposito. I think it is just such a fun, crazy game. It's like Rambo, right? Where you're gonna do crazy stuff. You're gonna, shoot 1,000 guys in the head, which the shooting just feels so good.
Mm.
I think that if you haven't played one in a while, you're curious. This is a great game to get at a discount. And if you're ready to invest 25 hours into a game, go for it. Not the best one in my opinion, but it's up there. It's real close.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right, so now everyone, hold on. I got a transition for this one. For our people on the video, the spoiler warning is up. Everyone, we can go from this point on. We are allowed to talk about literally anything we want. Everyone be aware. I do have questions coming up. So, hey, sorry, your questions are in the spoilers because what you asked is spoilery. All right. So, I just have a few categories about what we feel about the game. Again, you can do whatever you want. Story and characters. I think that's some of the best parts. This game has some of the best story slash characters in the Far Cry series. What are your thoughts on those two things?
Yeah, so I think that think of it this way: there's like 3 types of characters. There's the villains. There is your character, which you can select either to play as a male or a female, which is a first in the series, and you get VO for both. Did you play male or female?
Female Denny Ross.
I also played female. It's funny. Everyone I've spoken to has played female because I think that's the one that they've been showing off. So I'm like, this is probably how it was intended to play. So that's how I want to do it. So villains, main character, and then all the supporting characters. I think some of the supporting characters are very strong. There's a lot of diversity there. Danny is very strong as like the first time there's just not like a silent protagonist that you're just supposed to embody. And then the villain is probably the second best villain in second or third best villain in a Far Cry game. So I think that villain is up there, and then finally we have a character, like a main character that's strong, and then a support cast that is mostly good and mostly like it's not just people that are utterly forgettable. There are a lot of strong female characters. There are 2 male characters who are essentially interchangeable. I think El Tigre and Juan are essentially like the same character, but a lot of fun in there. A lot of fun, strong female characters, which I appreciated.
Yep. The story is simple enough.
Mhm.
Um, because it's just like, yeah, you're basically in Cuba and you're trying to yourself.
Hey, this is Cuba as much as we don't want to say it's
It's
Cuba.
Cuba. It's Cuba. But I think everything the characters do in this game is more interesting than makes the story more interesting than everything. Like the whole idea of this miracle drug that is only grown in Yara, which
Mhm.
cures cancer. And it's like, oh, well, that's a cool little twist. It's like the bad guy is doing a bad thing because he has a miracle drug that cures cancer.
Yeah.
Um, and then how that plays politically, where it's like, yeah, well, I'm not giving it to America because you guys don't do anything for us. So why would I
Mhm.
rush to help you? Like, again, I love his whole interview. We can get into it in a little bit, but his whole interview with the news lady,
Mhm.
and I'm like, yeah, dude, Giancarlo, you're right, and everything you're a bad guy and you're a dictator, but man, everything you're saying is correct. So I'm not
Yeah.
even mad at you about it.
And then Diego just like hands his son who has so much empathy, and that actually changes. It's weird. It changes over the story. If he gets less and less empathy as time goes on, but he's very empathetic in that moment. He just gives the person whose father has cancer one of the boxes of the miracle drug. So it's a fun contrast between the two of them to see him be such a villain and then Diego be so empathetic at the beginning. Giancarlo Esposito is so good in this.
Man, he is
He's
great.
so good.
He is fantastic. I mean, well, just before we're gonna get into that because he's obviously the best part. Again, having a main character is great. Danny Rojas's female voice actor is fantastic. That's why I played her.
Mhm.
All the supporting characters, like you go to, there's 3 sections of the island. It's like go get this group of people, and all those people are great. I love like the main people in each section.
Mhm.
Um, God, they're so fun. Like the DJ guy from Mexico, he's a great time.
Yep.
All the
W
old revolutionaries from '67, they're just old fucks now.
Yep.
That's a great time, man. I love
It's
everybody.
yeah, it's so good, and there's enough variety. Even like, and not all of them are on your side. So like Bembe is somebody who is like essentially like finger guns street merchant guy who like
Oh yeah,
you
that
owe me
guy
debts and whatnot.
with the blonde hair. You
And
know he's a shithole.
yeah, totally. And it was nice to have that, like, also people that are trying to help your end goal but are also trying to enrich themselves at the same point. So
Mhm.
there's a good variety of like motivations within the support characters that are around you as well.
Yeah, Philly Magic, baby.
Oh, Philly's so good. And then the amigos, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, but
Yeah, we
like
get Amigo stuff, but yeah, that's good.
Chorizo is probably the cutest boy. Did you have a favorite amigo?
Yes, that's a question that we'll get to. So I'll save it for that. But yes, I do have one that is way better than the other. I actually didn't get one of them. Yeah, that chorizo. God, it's so good. For everyone, check the video out. He's got the chorizo. That's from the Ultimate Edition, right?
No, this is yeah, essentially yes.
Yeah, the
So
chorizo's
cute.
awesome.
So cute.
My son called him a little sausage. But yeah, everybody. Who is the lady with the machete? It's the sword. I forgot what her real name is. From the left side of the island, where her dad is cutting up the crocodile whenever you first meet him.
Yeah, it's funny because one or two of so like Clara, who
Mhm.
is
The
the
main.
leader of Libertad, her and this character are very similar in my mind
Yeah.
because they're both like strong female characters that would kick in the butt. I'm gonna find out while you
I
tell
just
me
know
about.
she's the sword is like her moniker.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I like her a lot just because I like her whole story with she's trying to like deal with her father and the fact of how he is. He's just like this is an old man who refuses to change his ways and he refuses to ask for help. Like he's her dad is literally sick from so to make the miracle drug, they have to spray poison on the
Mhm.
tobacco leaves. And it's like that's why all the poor people are dying. And he's like, whatever I gotta do, I gotta do. But like he's literally dying and he's like, and this her dad refuses to get help. He's like, nah, I don't need it. He keeps calling you a tourist, but he's just old school like that. So I like her whole thing with
Yeah,
him.
that's the Monteros, and I think
Montero,
that's
that's what it is.
Camilla Montero.
Yes,
Yeah, she is
Monteros are
she's
great.
known as the sword. La Espada. I don't speak Spanish, but yeah, La Espada is her name.
Yeah, let me tell you though, I'm so happy that this game is again, I'm not Cuban,
Mhm.
so I can't speak to it directly, but from
Mhm.
everything I've heard, this game is like, yo, it's Spanish as fuck, and they don't care. Like, there's so much Spanish in it. People just speak Spanish. Everyone has Spanish. They like a lot of like the vernacular that they use or like the slang is just like, yeah, this is what they are, and I love it. Like, I don't know. I learned Spanish a little bit in high school, and it's fun to be able to roll my R's again and be able to talk. Like
Yeah,
Garilla,
roll your R's, eh?
agarilla. God,
Guerrilla.
my favorite word of all time.
Libertad, yeah. I had a friend from my master's, and she was originally born in Spain. And so when she was frustrated, she would always say coño, which is
Mhm.
like a very terrible word to say.
Yeah.
And so I remember when I first started playing this game, I texted her and I said, I'm playing Far Cry 6, and I just keep thinking of you because I'm playing a woman as the main character, and she just always says coño in frustration. And it is the funniest thing and such a thing that like Spanish speaking people that at least I've been friends with do.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
so funny that was the thing. I remember listening to reviews were like, "I don't know if that's a thing," and then it's like people from like, because again, being Mexican and being Cuban are completely different. Well, one time I was hanging out with a Cuban dude, and he made a big deal about he's not fucking Mexican. He was mad
Yep.
about it, but,
Yep.
like, it's a different culture, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Is that a thing?" But then I heard, like, Cuban people were like, "Oh, yeah, like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
You say that constantly when you're mad."
So
Um,
clearly, like people on the writing team either like were or like did the research and spoke to folks. And even I was watching a gamer tag radio. Danny Pena did an interview with Giancarlo Esposito, and
mhm.
he's like, "Hey, I'm African American." No, actually, yes, he is, but he was not born in the United States, and
Who's
so
that?
he
Giancarlo?
Giancarlo
Yeah,
Esposito.
he's Italian and black.
There you go. He was born in Italy and then came over. So he was very much like, hey, I'm not Hispanic and I want to make sure that I like do good by like the folks that I'm playing here. And I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, and I mean, we might as well switch over to the villains because that's the best part of the game. I
Yep.
love how that him being half black is part of the story, and like because I remember when I've said this before, like people were like complaining, or like Giancarlo, he's not even really Hispanic or anything. He's black and Italian, it doesn't count. And I love again, I love how so the difference in this game and the other ones is that you get a couple face to face scenes between your main character and the villain. In all
Mhm.
the other like, every time Voss talked, it was because he was in your face. This game, you just get independent scenes with Giancarlo and anything else, like him just father and son. You are nowhere to be found, and he's having his own character. That's why I like this character, like, is his own he has his own character, his own art. But I love when he's in the church and he's talking about, like, we're the lions and the sheep, and, like, we literally it's not even about being better than somebody else, but, like,
Mhm.
my father thought that people were equal, and he was fucking weak.
Mhm.
And he's like, "You gotta be a lion," and he was talking about like, he brings it up, he's like, "Hey, my mother" he's like, he's only half Yarn, which is so funny how he pushes the pure Yarn thing because he's only half
Yep.
Yarn. He's not even full, and he persecutes people who aren't full Yarns when he's not, which again, is a dictator thing to do.
Yep.
Um, and then he's like, "Yo, my mother would have been a better leader than my father, but she was too dark in her time, so she couldn't be." And it's like, "Oh, yeah," like, he's just straight up like, "Yeah, I'm half black and we weren't accepted, so it is what it is." I'm like, "Damn, they really went in on it," because I thought they were just gonna ignore it and be like, "His last name's Esposito, so he's Hispanic." And it's like, "No," he's like, "Nah, I'm half. That's my character's half, and this is how I live." So
Did you read a lot of the like side quests or like the stuff that was laying on the table and stuff? Because occasionally I would read one and I'm like, oh, they're building out this world to not be apolitical like most Far Cry games, but I just felt like, yo, this miracle drug is made with slave labor.
mhm.
It is made with slave labor that are being constantly poisoned. So they took a stand, but I feel like they just didn't throw it in your face. And I'm the type of guy that like I want you to like throw your view in my face because that's what I want.
Mhm. And Giancarlo does do that. That's why I love that scene when he talks to the reporter where she's like, "Is it true that, this drug's made with slave labor?" And he's like, "Wasn't America built on slave labor for 200 years?" She's like, "Well, shut the
Bam,
fuck up
get
real quick."
him.
So, yeah,
Yep.
well, there you go. I
Yep.
fucking love that he does that. That stuff I'm super into.
He was
Another
very
s
Shakespearean, truly
yeah,
was.
you can tell he's an actor because he's
And I
fucking
don't know
over
if
the
he
top.
if he played it that way or like that was the direction he was given, but I appreciated how Shakespearean he was
Mhm.
in the way he moved, in the deliberate pace of his voice. I just man that man I've never seen him in a role where I'm just like this is a bad acting job.
He's so good. I just love he's, like, in a church about to burn it down quoting scripture and then just fucking burns it down 'cause he's like, "I don't fucking care about this." One of my favorite scenes is when you're doing the drug run stuff for Juan and you get
Mhm.
captured and, like, they're torturing his left-hand man is torturing you and pulling your teeth
Mhm.
out, which is like, "Oh boy, don't like that."
There's a sound of pulling a tooth out, and I still remember it. It's so
Mhm.
disgusting. It's
You'll
just like
always remember it.
in the mouth. Ugh,
He
no,
pops out.
no,
It's
no.
bad, but I love in that because that's when Diego so, at that point in the story, you've seen Diego once. He's helps you out, like, like you said, he's empathetic, he's, like, not a bad kid. This is
Yep,
kinda where he starts to have a turn. And he's like, "Hey, don't kill Danny, Danny's good people," or whatever, and he's like, "For you, Diego, I won't do it," and he walks out of the room and throws a fucking grenade behind his back to fucking kill you. He's like, "Alright, son, I got you, don't worry." He's fucking and he's like he's just
yep,
ready to kill you in a heartbeat. I'm like, "God, I
yep.
fucking love this character so much."
He's so villainous, even though, and I think the thing was like, hey, she saved me once, so like I want to do the same for her here and save her from her death one time
Mhm.
as repayment. And he's just like, of course, turns his cheek and done. And so quick, grenade, you're dead.
Yeah, it's great. So I don't wanna I don't wanna you said I can talk about I'm not talking about the very end, but there's your next mission. I wanna tell
Yeah,
you
you
because
can,
there's
please.
a really good scene that I think you'll enjoy.
I might
So
play it. I might play it tonight. So like, please.
okay, so there's a scene whenever you are basically you're at a dinner table with Giancarlo and Diego. You
Yep.
come to dinner and he's like, "No lies." My mother said there's no lies at the dinner table. Don't you fucking lie. Because all the whole game he's talking to Diego's like truth or lie. And Diego
Yep.
always says truth. He never fucking says lies ever because you're not allowed to lie. Um, so you're having that scene, and again, it's just Giancarlo just fucking
First
throw in
person or third person?
that one is third.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just Giancarlo, of course, just fucking speaking at you because he's
Yep.
acting at you because he's so good at it. But
Yep.
then he brings up so the one lady you kill in the middle region, like the
Yep.
social media lady, is
Yep.
Diego's mother. Like
Yes.
they hint at it, but here straight up, he's like, um, I mean, at this point he's sick. So the whole game,
Mhm.
Giancarlo Esposito is sick. He has cancer, and
Yep.
he's been taking the drug to help himself, but like he's dying. Like he has
And also,
makeup.
he's gotten blood transfusions at one
Yeah,
point as well.
there's like a dude's body on a table and he's just got blood in his arm
Yep.
because he's trying to save himself. But he's having that scene, and again, I'm not gonna ruin everything because there's a lot of good stuff in there. But he said, "I knew I had cancer 13 years ago, and she fucking I never wanted kids, but she fucking guilted me into having Diego." And it was just like, "Holy shit." He's just like and he's like, "Hey, like, I never wanted kids, and you're here now, and you need to fucking man up." And it's just like, oh, because like, he's dying, and he's going fucking mad. Oh my god, that scene's so good. Get to that tonight. Giancarlo. That scene, along with the other ones, is why he's my number 1 and not my number 2 because of shit like
Hmm.
that. He's fucking wild.
Is it so? I like Voss doing like you're in the cage in Far Cry 3, and he just says like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and hoping that you get a different outcome. Like that's what I typically think of.
Mhm.
Is it to that level of? It sounds like it had that sort of impact to you.
It's for me, I like that
Different but better.
it's different. It's completely I don't know. Again, I think it's people's interpretation if it's better or not. For
Right.
me, I like how different he is and how he's so collected, but he's this dude who rules people and has no mercy and is trying to teach his son in his mind to be a good because also remember when there was the revolution of 67, his dad got captured and killed and he was put in
Yep.
prison for
Yep.
years. So it's
Mhm.
crazy. It's awesome seeing again this great
As a
actor.
teenager, he was put in
He
jail.
was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm trying to raise this kid. You find out that he didn't fucking want in the first place. And
Yep.
he's like, I need you to lead this country since I can't do it. I guess you're gonna have to do it. And he's trying to teach him how to. And it's God, I fucking love him so much.
Mhm.
I mean, he might stay number 2 for you. That's fine. But for me, his performance fucking kills it for me. I
So you're
absolutely
saying like, at the Game Awards this year, there is the 5 voice actors who are going to be nominated for best voice actor, best actor. He's on the list, right?
he should be.
Yeah.
I would put him on there because of the perform and again, it's like 6 scenes, but they're fucking so good.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I would put him up there. I don't know if he wins, but I would definitely put him in the running. Uh, that's a lot about story and characters. It was a great time. Again, it helps when you have a great actors. Diego's also very good as well.
Yep.
So we're gonna go in a little bit of gameplay stuff. Just the way that you enjoyed playing. This includes weapons, amigos, uh, vehicles that you liked. Did you use stealth or whatever, Supremos, uh, any of that stuff? Like, how did you like playing this game, basically?
Yes. So I will give you high level and then we can dig into it. So my favorite weapons to use, I didn't love the fact of how much I had to actually go into the menu because there was like 5 weapons that I really liked using and
It's a
you
lot
only
of
have
switching.
4 spots, so there's a lot of switching. So I ended up using the AK pretty consistently as my rifle. I was using the cartographer shotgun, which I think is a special shotgun I got with the Ultimate Edition, I think. Or it was like one you could buy in the shop because there's
Mhm.
a currency you can buy. It's kind of dumb. But I used that shotgun. I used a pistol silenced, and then
Mhm.
my other slot was switching between grenade launcher, rocket launcher, and composite bow.
Okay.
I love bows in games. It was one of my favorite things. Not enough games have bows. Like the new Tomb Raider trilogy, Crisis 2 and Crisis 3 had really good bows. I want more games with bows. And so love the bow. Like love just like sneaking in, maybe just getting like 2 or 3 guys with a bow and then like guns blazing. And that's
Mhm.
typically how I went about things. With my Supremo, I ended up having like the fire mine, grenade, um, Molotov cocktail, and healing syringe. And then my Supremo, I ended up just going with the like regular missile Supremo because I
It's
just
so
felt like that.
good.
It's the only thing that can take down helicopters for the first 10 hours of the game.
Yeah. Well, the EMP one, but
The EMP Supremo.
yeah, EMPs can
Does
knock
it
down
take it down?
helicopters. It knocks it out of the sky. I don't know. I'm
Okay.
with you. I only
I've
use the
not
homing
used it.
rockets.
I've barely used it.
Yeah, the homing rocket is the best one. The one I gave you at the beginning is the best one. Like,
Mm,
it straight up, it is.
yep.
Um, I'm with you on that one.
Did you kinda have a similar, like, loadout?
So I always had an assault rifle,
Mhm.
the very last one.
'Kay.
I forgot what it is. It's not an AK. I think it's like a fall or FAL or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I would have my pistol was my incendiary weapon,
Okay, yep.
and then I had the sniper rifle. I actually got it really early, but it's the 4-star sniper rifle. So like
Yep.
the really, really good bolt action sniper rifle, and that was my silenced weapon with armor piercing rounds, just because
Mm.
headshot people all day. And then my last slot would either be so there's it's I don't know how to speak. It's spelled resolver, but I know it's not said resolver
Yep.
because it's a Spanish term.
Mhm.
So, but I'm the resolver weapons, whatever they're called. There's one that is I love it. It's car batteries, but it's an EMP gun.
Ooh.
That thing is so useful. So, I would switch that out with, the sniper rifle. I didn't even use rocket
Mhm.
launcher because once you realize the EMP gun, first of all, you shoot a helicopter with it, and it straight up falls and then explodes. So, it takes out helicopters in one
Mm.
shot compared to rocket launchers, which you might have to hit more than once. I know the homing one you have to hit more than once. It also takes out tanks. So you shoot a tank, it stops moving for like a minute, and you can just jump up on top of it and destroy it or take it.
I I need to use it because I tried some of the resolvar weapons, I think is,
Mhm.
like, how it said maybe? I don't speak Spanish. I speak French. Close
Yeah.
enough. I use, like, the one that shoots CDs, and
Mhm.
that wasn't super useful. I used the flamethrower, which, like, it's fine at close range, but I'd rather have a shotgun than a flamethrower.
Yeah.
And then there's also a nail gun that I tried, and none of them, like, I really adored, and I've unlocked them all. So I
Mhm.
think what I'm gonna try in the last, 3 hours of playing the game is try this EMP gun first, and then maybe get back to like, a high-level sniper rifle. I'm usually not a sniper rifle guy because 'cause I'm really bad at aiming, and with, like, a
Mhm.
bow, I can just, like, perfectly line something up without the breathing issue. Does it like do you really have to like time your shot well with a sniper rifle?
The dudes sit still long enough is not really an issue. So,
Okay.
like, what you do is you get again, this game's all about there's no skill tree except for, like, you getting perks on guns or whatever. So you just get,
Mhm.
like, a 6/10 times scope,
Yep.
zoom in on the head, you can hold breath if you want, but it doesn't move. At least that again, the one I had was the best sniper rifle in the game, so I don't
Mhm.
know. I normally when it got to 5, all I used was the bow in 5, but this game, I didn't use a bow once. I don't know. It was.
Right.
I didn't use it this time.
And
Um,
some of the weapons actually come in like there are customizable ones that you can pick up, and then there are like unique or like pre-built essentially versions of it where and I love the pistol, for example, the pre-built one you can pick up that shoots fire bullets
yeah, I had
because
that one
you
for a
get
while.
that pretty early, and I'm like, ooh, this is nice. It's got like a little bit of kick, and it shoots fire bullets. I'm in.
Yep, and
Didn't
then
like poison. Didn't use a lot of poison.
poison's not great. It's just like you poison them enough and then they turn on each other, but it's like, I'd rather just kill you.
Yep.
And then so I would switch out my sniper with the EMP gun, which again, I would snipe, and then the minute someone found me, I'm like, switch the EMP gun for when the helicopters come, and it's great.
Mhm.
And then I would have the MP7 as my
Mhm.
other one, just because you get extended mag on it and you shoot dudes in the body and they just die immediately. If you have that perk where it's like body shots do more damage and you have armor piercing rounds, and it's just like everyone dies and it has no recoil on it. So it's a great time.
I really
That
wish that because there's a weapon wheel, right? And on the weapon wheel, you have like your four main weapons. You can holster your gun, and then there's like your fishing rod, your repair torch, and then like hailing a vehicle. I really wish that on that wheel there was a way where you could even have like, hey, these are my 8 favorite weapons, and you could just like toggle between them on your weapon wheel in
different
real
loadouts
time instead of going to the pause menu.
because
That
you
to
can
me is like the
change.
biggest thing.
Yeah, because you can change the loadout anytime. So
Yep.
it's not like there's like you have to go somewhere to change your loadout. So I don't like it. You can only have 3 primary weapons and then the sidearm.
And the
Um,
pause is super quick because this
yeah,
game is on next gen and it like load times are non-existent and it plays really well, like no performance issues, but it's still that half second where you're like, "Hey,
yeah,
I gotta move."
just a little bit. And then also, Supremo, same thing. I really like the recon grenade because it's nice to not have to mark people. Just throw a
Mhm.
recon grenade and you know where everybody is. So yeah, that's how I like to play the game. I would definitely try to do as much stealth as possible, and then
Stealth like that. That was so stealthy.
he wasn't stealthy at all. He was loud as hell. But yeah, I would do as much stealth as I could, and then I would just go loud if I felt like it.
Mhm.
All right. So this is a good way to kind of segue. This is from Lukewarm Games. You know this guy.
Yeah, shout out Luke. He's him and his partner Claire. They do a great podcast, and Luke is just a lovely fellow. So thank you for sending this question, Luke.
Yep, and this will get kind of not piggy tail. God, I'm going crazy over here. Uh, curtail into this question: who's your favorite companion in the game? Also, what we'll start with this one first. Favorite companion. So, favorite amigo. We were talking about the way we play the game. What's your
Yep.
favorite amigo? I did not get the cougar. Is it a cougar or a leopard or whatever?
Yeah.
That's the only one I did not get. I have not
Yep.
done the side mission to get that one.
Neither have I. I have three. I have the alligator. I have Boom Boom,
Mhm.
who is actually Boomer from Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I was like, that's Boomer.
Which is
100%.
super cool because it's like a continuity of like they shipped him to Yara, and you have to pick him up out of a box, and he's such a cute little boy.
He's awesome.
I liked Chorizo the best, but I felt Boom Boom was the most useful.
Yeah. 100%. Boom Boom is the most useful. Not only does so when you sick him on somebody, it's basically an instant kill, which some of the other amigos it takes them a longer to kill, and then he instantly marks people and like
Mhm.
equipment. I'm like, yo, Boom's the best. Straight up, he's the best one. Second, Chicharron, because it's a fucking crazy ass rooster
Yep.
who tears people up, and that's pretty cool. But yeah, is it Guapo as the alligator?
Yeah.
Kind of my least favorite one. I'm gonna be honest with you.
He was like very comedic because very early um he's the one that you get first. And
Mhm.
so it's very funny to see like a crocodile chew somebody up that's about to hit one. But yeah, I didn't feel him. He was very useful. And I actually unlocked, I did have Champagne the White Panther because I think with the Ultimate Edition, I unlocked him. And then you also get K9000, which is like a robotic dog. But I'd rather have Boomer. Boomer's cute.
Yeah. And I never even had the Panther. I don't know what it does.
The Panther has some abilities of like a snarl, and then it can loot enemies after a silent takedown. But its whole thing was about stealth, and I
Yeah.
didn't like it.
Boom Boom was the best. Like he literally kills people in one hit and he
Mhm.
marks like and it's a dog. So come on, let's be honest. The Chorizo's the cutest, but
Mhm.
Boom Boom's the most useful in game. Without a doubt. Yeah. Chorizo's great. Next. This is also in a continuation from Luke. What voice actor would you like to see portray a Far Cry villain in a future entry in the series, and why would you choose this
Mark
person?
Hamill.
Oh, a Mark Hamill one. Why? I mean,
Yeah.
I know why because he's great, but
Yeah, he's fantastic, and I like one of my favorite. We were having conversations about Batman the other night when I was out, and what people were saying is like, "Oh yeah, like Robert Pattinson's Batman's gonna be great." I'm like, Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill are the best Batman Joker out there, and the Joker is always great. Mark Hamill's fantastic. He's great playing villains, so I'd want to see like off the top of my head, like Mark Hamill would be fantastic as a villain. He's done game stuff too, so he gets the medium.
Mhm.
Where I'm
Yeah,
sure Giancarlo, like there was a learning process. He's probably done some kind of motion capture, voice capture before, but I'm sure like Mark Hamill lives that. So I'm sure he would just absolutely crush it.
I like that. Who this one? I don't know how they would work this one in, but I would just like it because the actor is very thespian, right? That's what you call someone who's like a
Yep.
Shakespearean like
Yep.
play actor,
Yep.
whatever. But give me Ian McKellen. Just like give me some, deep booming. Think Magneto, but a murderer.
Okay, I was like, yeah, you mean Sir Ian McKellen?
Yeah,
Like,
Sir Ian
yes.
McKellen.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because you think of parts
Yeah.
in Lord of the Rings where it's like he's fucking terrifying. Like when he gets
Well,
pissed off.
that's kind of what I was thinking, like, because I immediately was thinking, like, the person who does the motion capture and the voice for Gollum in Lord of the Rings,
Andy
Andy
Serkis.
Serkis. Thank
Mhm.
you. Andy Serkis would be dope as a villain in this too, because he always crushes his
Yeah.
motion capture, voice capture lines, and he directs movies now.
Mhm.
So Andy Serkis would be another person who I would adore to see be a villain here.
That would be good. I like everything he does. He's very
Hmm.
fun to watch. Yeah, I would like somebody who isn't like physically menacing.
Hmm.
Not that all the there are a lot of them are old dudes or whatever. Actually, you know what? A woman would be interesting because I don't think we've had a woman
We haven't.
villain. Not really. So who is a female actor that would be super
Robin
cool?
Wright would be great.
What was she from?
Robin Wright most recently, like she's been an actress forever, but most
Mhm.
recently she did the uh, Claire Underwood in House of Cards.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
I think Claire Underwood would be interesting. Bryan
Okay.
Cranston would also be a good villain.
Brian Cranston
But
do anything.
yeah,
That
they could
works
do
for me.
anything. We're fantasy casting here, but sorry, we were talking about women.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I was just thinking just to be different, like who would we do? I mean, that sounds good. I was almost gonna say, who's the old British lady that everybody loves? Who's in Fast and
Helen
Furious?
Mirren.
Helen Mirren. Just because she's so good. She's such a
Yeah,
good actor. Oh my god. I don't know.
Helen
It would
Mirren.
be just thinking of like different weird. And she'd be British, just like a British like gangster.
Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
Never happen.
she would love to do that. Um,
What about
Lupita.
Florence Pugh?
God, she's so good. She's
Hmm.
fantastic.
Yeah, I
I
would
could
take
see that.
Florence Pugh as a villain here.
I would take Florence Pugh or Lupita Nyong'o or Nwingo
Yes,
because she's done
yes.
mocap and she's a very good actor. So
Hmm.
I'd be down for either one of those.
These are all good options. Can we
Yes.
get like DLC now?
Ubisoft, give me money. I've given you an idea.
Yeah.
Our next question is from D Smitty Games on Twitter
Mhm.
and series villain ranks. So we've kind of already talked about it. We don't have to do the whole series, but like what would be like your top 3, I suppose, would be a
Uh,
good way to look at it.
I think it's Voss, Voss number 1, this game number 2, and then Pagan Min probably number 4. I adore Troy Baker. I think
Mhm.
anything he does is just magic in the game space, and so he's number 3. He's a close third. These are all very close.
Yeah.
Did you like the villain from Far Cry 5?
Yes. I didn't like the way that they handled the villains in the game, but I liked his character. And
Mhm.
also, I played Far Cry New Dawn,
Mm.
and he
Who's the
continues in that.
Who's the villain? Oh, he's also the villain in that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about it. The villains of Far are the twins, the 2 girls, the 2 black
Oh.
girls with like all the Mad Max motorcycle gear on.
Mhm.
They are the villains in the game. But
Oh.
Joseph Seed also shows up in the game.
Hmm. He doesn't die. Spoilers for Far Cry 5. He doesn't die in that game.
The alternate ending is that he goes into a bunker and traps you in there.
God,
So
interesting.
I think they're going off the canon of like the alternate ending of the game.
Cool.
So he's
Okay.
still alive. For me goes Giancarlo Esposito, number 1, just because again, I think all the scenes are great. 2 would be Voss, 'cause Voss is also extremely very good. And then 3, I was like, are the twins? The twins are cool, but they're not like crazy. Uh, for me, I would probably go. I guess it would be Pagan Min at 3. Because I like Joseph Seed, but the way that they handle the villains in Far Cry 5 is messy. I like the twins a lot, but I can't remember their names. They're very cool, but it's just like they're not really a huge presence. I think they're just like look cool and they are cool.
Mhm.
And then of course I did play Primal, whatever the saber-tooth tiger was cool, I guess. And
Pagan Min is just so persistent in that game that he
yeah,
gets so many chances to knock out of the park. So even if there's a voice line or a section of dialogue that is kind of throwaway, there's just so much more of it. Where with Giancarlo Esposito, and I've said this before, and sorry for repeating it, but like Hollywood actor, higher pay scale, they probably could only get him for a week, so they did what they could with it. And
mhm,
that was the vignettes that were very clearly like, you beat this part, here's a vignette with Diego and Giancarlo's character. You're going to get a few of these, and then maybe we'll get him and the protagonist in the same place for the big
mhm.
final scene.
Yep. And the only reason I put Troy Baker 3 because I do like Troy Baker a lot, but Far Cry 4 was opening scene on a bus
Hmm.
was really really awesome. Then you go to
Yep.
his house and you can do the secret ending if you just sit
Hmm.
there. And then the
Yeah,
rest of the game
hilarious.
is great. And then the rest of the game, it's all he does talk a lot, but it's just radio. You get no
Hmm.
FaceTime with him until the end of the game. And I'm just like,
Yep.
I mean, you're cool, but you're literally just talking at me. Because again, that's the problem with those old games. Your character doesn't really do anything. It's like you're literally talking at me, which like good performance, but you're just talking at me. That's not
Yeah. The
Voss is in your face, and then Giancarlo again, his character again. You're not super involved, but what he's doing is fucking dope. So
Yeah,
that's why I put those guys up
whatever
there.
issues I have with Pagan Min and the story of Far Cry 5 is not on Troy Baker's performance. It is on the writing. It is so paint by numbers. Nothing interesting happens. And I remember playing Far Cry 4 because I played it this year, and it was very much like the most wet fart of an ending. It was just like, oh, I think that I was on my phone and I missed the ending. Like I
Yeah.
just missed a chunk of it. I'm like, oh, guess we're at dinner and he's dead now. Okay.
Yep. Here we are. Yeah, it's yeah, Far Cry 4 actually might be one of the on the lower end of my list on that for the games. But anyway, we're not talking about that. So yes, thank you, Decent Mini Games. Thank you, Luke Warm Games, and thank you. Who was the other person who sent me something?
That was
Darby
Darby Hallman 1.
Darby Hallman. Thank you. Great
Can we
stuff.
talk about one thing that I forgot to talk about?
Go ahead.
Vehicles.
Oh yeah, there's one that's really really good, but then there's a couple that are cool.
What's your favorite?
The fucking car plane. Whatever
The
that non.
what? Car
Yeah,
plane?
have you not had it? So
Dude, no.
there's I think it's just like in a spot or you can unlock it, whatever. So it's like a dune buggy sort of a thing where it's like a
Mhm.
two-seater. You get in the car, and once you hit a certain speed, you press the Y button on Xbox or probably triangle or whatever, and you hit a button, and then I think it has like balloons and a parachute, and you can start flying.
Cool.
So it is an air vehicle. I think it's considered a helicopter in like your base. But yeah, it's literally a car plane. So like you drive, you can just take off and like, all right, well he's gone now. Sorry, we can't get Danny anymore. And then whenever you just come in for landing, just slow down, pop it down, you're right back on the road.
So cool. Yeah, I need to find that. Like I said, I have a few more hours to play, so maybe I can find it. But I loved like every vehicle type. Like it was fun to jump on a jet. That was almost like if there's like not the top 3 things, but if there's a top 5 list, vehicles are probably on it just because the cars are fine, but the planes, the helicopters, the jet skis, the boats are very fun to drive.
Mhm.
And dogfighting in a plane, for example, or at least some of the missions require you to like destroy an oil silo. It was very fun just to jump in a plane and just like bomb those.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Yeah, there's definitely that story mission where you need to bomb the fields, and that's really cool. Where you just take up in this old plane that's been retrofitted and just bomb stuff out. Yeah, I mean, anytime I wanted to fast travel, either I would, do the airdrop and just
Yep.
wingsuit immediately because
Same.
that's the best way to
Exact
get around.
same.
Or get in a helicopter because
Mhm.
there's one helicopter that's armored shielding. So
Mhm.
like you have to have armor piercing to even get through the windows. It has rockets and machine guns. It's a
Mhm.
helicopter. And then there's clothing you can have that you automatically repair vehicles when you're inside of them. So
Mhm.
you literally just don't get shot down. You just sit. Like I cleared so many checkpoints by just getting in a helicopter and just like, all right, well I'm invincible and just mowing people down. It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, they were very fun, and the wingsuit is something that I'm really glad they brought back, and it's something you don't get right out the gate, but you get it pretty quick depending
Yeah.
on how you up. We didn't really talk about the bases and how you can like build up bases. There's like 3 main bases in the 3 sections of the island, and you can build 6 building types that give you special bonuses and whatnot. And one of them is like get your wingsuit that is essential. Like you, my favorite thing was airdropping and then gliding to a thing. And even if I was like on a mountain and there was maybe like 30 meters that I was jumping down, I would jump down and be able to travel like
Yeah.
200 meters to go faster.
I have a couple deaths where I would jump off and not have enough space to do the wingsuit, but I'm
Yep.
like, maybe I got enough, and then just smack into the ground and kill myself. But I was like,
Or you test yourself where you're like, I'm like 2 feet off the ground, but maybe I can get another like 10 meters out of this glide.
yeah.
And you don't.
And you're just going literally faster than the sports car, and it's like, yeah, you hit the ground, you're dead. And yeah, the wingsuit's awesome.
Did you play a lot of the like mini games too? Because there's like a cockfighting fighting game, which was
Mhm.
interesting. You can play dominoes, but I don't know what the third like base game was.
I know. Yeah, I saw the dominoes. I didn't do it. I did do the
Couldn't beat
cockfighting
it.
and beat all of them. I haven't played dominoes forever. I forgot how to do it. Um, I did do the cockfighting. I got all the way through that. I've got like 12 roosters unlocked, and it's just basically just like a 3D fighter Tekken thing, which is it's pretty fun. Um,
Surprisingly robust for what it is.
yeah, it's like a 3-button fighter that's like surprisingly good for
Mhm.
chicken or roosters fighting each other. It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
I didn't do dominoes. I don't remember what the second one is. That would be in the middle area, whatever their base's thing is. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. But
It's kind of hard to, it's not hard to miss, but like you can easily miss some of the like guerrilla like camp facility stuff if you're trying to just go through as quickly as possible.
oh yeah, I bought all those. My first base when I built the buildings on it. If you max
Mhm.
out one of the buildings, it's like here are all of the buildings. Here are all of the outposts. It's like, oh yeah, great. I can just fast travel literally this entire map because I just bought a map that tells me where they all are.
There's just so many things to collect though, and you can do those like banditos missions, which are
Mhm.
like, hey, you get leaders and you can gather troops, and those troops can essentially go and get more stuff. that was just kind of a wildly unnecessary piece that I engaged with, but I was like, why am I wasting my time doing this?
Yeah. They've been doing that since at least Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where it's like, "Send out your ships, get stuff." And it's
Why?
like, it's fine. Like, it
You
seems like
just
a
want to
mobile
get me
game.
for more hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
which is whatever. It's cool. But yeah, I guess, is there anything else? Uh, Final verdict. How do you feel about this game now that we've went through everything? We kinda talked about if we would, suggest it or recommend it or not, but how do you feeling at this point? Now you've talked about it over multiple places, you're getting near the end. How do you really feel about this game?
I hate to always come back to the same, like I sound like a broken record here, but like it is a fun open world game. I cannot deny the fact that this is a fun video game to play. The story has interesting characters to it, but the story is the story's generic. It's less generic than most Ubisoft games. It's got a little meat on it from like a political sense. The characters are well written, but it is not gonna blow your socks off by any means in a story sense. So if you like open world games, you want to have fun, this is a good Far Cry game. This is a good open world game. You said it might not be on your top 10 this year. It might be on my top 10 games that I've played this year. It might be near the bottom of it. It might be
Yeah, like
like
8,
a
9,
9
10?
or a 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a solid 8 of a game. It runs well, it plays well, no technical issues. It's fun to play. The characters are cool. It just doesn't do anything from a story perspective that'll knock your socks off, minus the like Castillo stuff that I haven't seen maybe in the end. And it is a very paint by numbers open world game. So don't expect like mechanical innovation or cool systems. The systems work together well and it's fun. But if that doesn't attract you, if the last 30 seconds of what I've said doesn't sell you, then nothing will about Far Cry 6.
Mhm. Yep, I'm definitely in the same spot where this is an Adam ass game. Adam enjoys it, and I was there day one. And then anyone's like, I played it, but I don't finish these games. I'm like, yeah, you can wait. Again, I think basically you already know if you like this game. Did you like the last 3 Assassin's Creed game? Did you like Watch Dogs? Do you
Yep.
like any Far Cry's period? This is one of the better ones of those. So there's no, yeah, it's not like, oh, this is a new IP, a new franchise, a new game type. Is it good or not? It's like, if you're gonna like this or not. Like, I appreciate you listening to the podcast, but you already know. And I think
Yeah.
this is one of the better one of those. So if you are like me, enjoy those, check it out. If you haven't played it in a while, get it on sale. I think you'll have a good time. But yeah, it's not reinventing the wheel, and I don't think it necessarily has to. Like, sometimes you just want to eat a pepperoni pizza, and it's like, oh, this pizza was super good. So yeah,
Mhm.
there you go, have your pizza.
Matthew Galt from Waypoint wrote an article, and I just pulled it up while we were talking because I read it and I didn't remember the title, but it's Far Cry 6 is creatively and morally bankrupt. I think that is a little dramatic of a headline. Obviously, it's a headline that's trying to pull you in, but I agree with actually most of what he's saying, that it
Mhm.
is just like a chore list and, hey, gasoline, metal, construct your buildings, upgrade your camp, do cockfighting. I wouldn't go that dramatic, but I agree with the spirit of what he's trying to say. That the
Mhm.
formula of this game has not shifted or changed for the last 4 iterations. Maybe it's time for a change. I just disagree and say that it's a good one of those.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't think we're at the Assassin's Creed Syndicate part where people are like, "Okay, you've given us the same thing and now we dislike it." I think you've given us the same thing and it's still enjoyable now. Again, they will eventually need to do an AC Origins on this series.
mhm.
I don't think that they are at a point now where I have an issue with it. If we get like another half step game where where like New Dawn was just basically 5, Primal was basically just 4, but they did something different. I think if they do a knockoff of 6, maybe I'll be like, "All right, guys, chill out." But as it is right now, like, I'm not tired yet of the series, but again, you're gonna know or not.
I
So
think they're gonna
he's not
turn
wrong.
6 into a platform. From
Mhm.
like the obviously they're doing a Rambo pack, they're doing a Stranger Things pack,
Yeah.
they're doing one other like weird branded
Danny
IP.
Trejo, just a
That's
person,
it.
Danny Trejo.
That's it. Just a person.
Yep.
This will be a platform. It'll be a game that they'll iterate on for 12 months. I think they are at the point where Far Cry 7 needs to be something different.
Mhm.
Like it needs to be a departure, like mechanically and structurally. I think they're there. We aren't going to burn out on this one. Like 6 is good. I think if 7 is the same thing, that then people will have issues.
Yeah. 'Cause again, like I just said with Syndicate, Syndicate wasn't bad, it was just people were tired of playing those kind of Assassin's Creed games. So,
Mhm.
I'm with you. 7 needs to either be completely, something different, or they're gonna do it, people are gonna get mad, and then they'll do something different next time. So
Yeah. This
Um,
game will sell so many copies, it's not going to even be a problem. I just worry about the next one.
yeah, I'm with you. So, first of all, thank you, Jacob, so much for coming on and joining us. We talked way longer than I thought we would have probably, but I'm not even mad about it. It's cool to be here with you.
You were like, this is going to take 20 minutes. I'm like,
So yeah,
we're
man,
going to
we'll
talk
go
for an hour.
for 30. I don't know how long it's been exactly, but I do appreciate actually exactly an hour. I appreciate you being here with me. Um, give your last plugs and then I'll give my plugs. We'll get out of the show.
Yeah. So just a recap of what I do once again, you can find me on Twitter at Jacob McCourt, JACOBMCCOURT. That's where you can find all my things. I'm a gaming and esports marketer by day. By night, I host a bunch of podcasts. The Left Behind Game Club, Video Game Book Club podcast. You can find that on all major podcasting platforms. Cutscenes, a seasonal video game movie podcast. We are launching season 3 of the show with Final Fantasy Spirits Within.
Oh yeah.
That is a movie that I'm conflicted about, and you'll find out why. Cutscenes, a video game movie podcast, is what that is on all major podcasting platforms. On hiatus right now, but I host video game trivia on Twitch Wednesday nights when it's back on. You can again track my Twitter when that's coming back. And that is all the things I do. So Adam, thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate you. Appreciate the things you do. Where can you be found? Tell us about your things.
Oh yeah, you just follow me on Twitter at Adam Gumby, which is where you can get all these tweets about. Tell me how your question about Far Cry 6. Yeah, follow me on there for all your. I'll tweet about this podcast all the time. But then follow the podcast at Respawn Aim Fire on Twitter. And the main thing is, hey, if you're on patreon.com/Respawn Aim Fire, you can watch this video right now early, a couple days early for everybody else. I know. But if you're watching it or listening to it at the other times, like everyone else, you know, enjoy your thing. But if you want to get a little bit early, just $1, man, you get these reviews early. So enjoy that. Play game nights with us, have a good time. But if not, Respawn Aim Fire on Twitter and just enjoy the podcast. And thanks for being here and listening to me talk about Far Cry 6 for an hour. So it's been a good time. I appreciate it, Jacob. See you guys.
Bye.